Well, hello, welcome aboard. Good morning. It's Sherry. I'm back from Energy Work Studio. I'm a certified emotion code, body code practitioner, spiritual teacher, and have been offering services in and around New England since 1998. So it's been a while. And you're going to see my orbs are back live. So, a couple of things I'm going to bring up today. But before we get into that, you may even see live little shooters, like shooting stars, that float through, little floaters. This is live, so you're going to see them moving around, so it's wonderful. They're just pure energy. They're all white. That's why usually I do these in the evening, these videos, or in the mornings, because it's not really light out, so you can see them, because they're around more often than not now. So I'm clairaudient, and I hear the other side. So when they speak to me, they come through me randomly, and I hear them just as clearly as having a conversation with another human being. It's very clear. So they come through to give me messages about either a client that's up and coming that I'm going to be working with, or things that are up and coming that I'm going to be doing, things that I'm moving through, things like that. Things that'll help me with my physical body, energy work. It's random. They come through generally every day or every other day. So it's very fascinating, very interesting. So before we get into the rest of what we're doing here, this is the book they helped me to put together, and this came out a year ago. This came out in January of 2020. A Change in Perception, divinely guided by something larger than myself. It's amazing. And the book was designed to be educational for people, to help people think outside of the box, beyond what is directly in front of us, so that we're less fearful of the unknown. It was very instrumental in putting this together. A lot of information went into this, a lot of energy. So, as a matter of fact, while we're here, I'm going to read a quick excerpt from that book, one chapter. It's chapter 8. And it's called Energies. The title of that chapter, Energies. This is just one excerpt from it. Now, this is from them. This is not my words. Enlightenment comes to those who persist, even in their darkest hour, when they hold faith in something larger than themselves. When one holds faith in that thought, they continue to move forward. It's when one stops believing they're better than what's taking place in these dark hours. They stagnate. It's in the stagnation and disbelief that one remains in neutral, building heavy vibration frequencies in and around themselves. The way to move through this and to move forward is through love. First and foremost, one must love thyself before they can understand and love others. And we're certain that many of you have heard this term before, love thyself. So that is their words, not mine. That's right out of the book. That's chapter 8. You know, you have to hold faith into something larger than what you're experiencing at this moment, because everything that we experience is a life lesson. Just something that we need to learn, and it's helping us to do that. We chose to come through in physical form to learn things through experiencing. Through experience. I mean, we came through with an amazing physical body. You know, we can hear, we can talk, we can taste, we can smell, we can feel a breeze, you know, blowing over the system. We can see beauty. We can see everything. You know, so it's through all of this experience that we're learning things. Some of it is challenging and difficult, and some of it isn't. It's still an expression of learning something from it. So that's why we're here, and to help elevate our vibration to move through it. So there you have it. So again, a change in perception. Here's the book one more time. You can read an excerpt yourself if you want. Go to my website, energyworkstudio.com. One S between work and studio. You click on the icon, My Book, a link will appear that allows you in to read an excerpt from this book and to order it. All right, that was through Balboa Press. That's who I use. Wonderful. They did a great job. All right, so as we continue, again, also, I'd like to offer people, I'm doing webinars now for people that are interested in offering this to a group. You know, whether it's in your business or your home, if you want to do a home gathering and you want people to sample this and have experience with this, I can work on the systems, do a discussion. So if you're interested in something like this, contact me. We can talk about the fees and we'll go over more information. Go to my website, energyworkstudio.com. One S between work and studio, or you can email me energy4522@gmail.com for more information. All right, so there you have it. So let's begin. Now, you can see that my orbs are here, and they are not leaving, and they're here more often than not. Again, they come through when it's darker out because they're pure energy. They're all white, pure energy. And you can see them. During the day, you can't see them because it's too light out. So I do these usually in the morning hours or the late evening hours, and you can see them if they decide to choose to come through. They don't always come through. Right now they want to be around, they want to be visible to help people work through the unknown and being less fearful. So here they are, and welcome aboard to them and blessings. All right, so as we continue, we're going to be talking about the emotion code, body code, and how it works. So trapped emotion is brought about in the body from traumas that we experience in life that we were unable to process. And as I've mentioned this before, many times in the past, everything is energy and has a vibration. There isn't anything on this planet that doesn't have a vibration to it. So the same is true with emotions. It has a frequency attached to it. So some emotions are more difficult to process and let go of. So most begin in our childhood. So consequently, they remain stuck and become heavier as we continue on our journey. So simply, we keep adding more and more layers of the trapped emotions in the system that are stuck. We keep adding more and more layers to that because that's how it works. That's how come they become so dense. They become layered. So in turn, the system weakens, the organs become compromised and sluggish due to the emotions' frequencies being so dense. They distort the frequencies of the body, creating illness and disease in the system. That's how we create disease in the body. You know, arthritis, fibromyalgia, cancer, you name it. Whatever is going on with the system, the number one imbalancer of the system is trapped emotion. They actually distort the frequency of our bodies and they create illness and disease, and that's what weakens it. So we use with this modality, the emotion code, body code, applied kinesiology with muscle testing, but we take it one step further. We use magnets and most importantly, intention. That's how we release what we found. And the way we find it is we're connecting, the practitioner is connecting to your subconscious. So trapped emotion energy is overcharged emotion. It's concentrated. So over time it starts to break down the system, the organs, the glands, tissues, muscle, bones, tendons, ligaments, everything, because everything's connected. So it's all touching it. Everything inside this body that we walk around in, everything inside of it is touching. So there may be something here that's off. It's going to affect something here, or it's going to affect something in the meridian down on the other end if it's on the same pathway. And I'll explain more about that in a minute. So everything's connected. So you could have shoulder pain, neck pain, low back pain, fibromyalgia, arthritis, anxiety, panic attacks, PTSD, and more. I mean, the list is endless. So as we move through, the body experiences a shift of energy in its system when we're exposed to things that are difficult. So through the years, we can collect tons and tons of trapped emotions It's going to slowly break down the system if we don't remove it. So, with that said, emotion code, body code, these trapped emotions are released from the system, pain levels drop. That was the premise behind me starting to offer these live on Facebook. I do this every Sunday at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time on my Facebook page. People can come in and sample this free, whatever is ailing your body. Now, it could be physical pain or it could be emotional pain. I tell people when you come in, we're going to try to gauge it. So try to gauge what your pain level is between 1 and 10, 10 being the worst. So what is the pain level? I had somebody come in and they had terrible hip pain. And it was her. It was on the West Coast. I'm on the East Coast. She tuned in. She was on the West Coast. And her hip pain was on the left hip. And it was a level 8, close to a 10. She said she had been everywhere. She had taken all kinds of prescription drugs. She had been to chiropractors. She still couldn't get relief from the pain. So I worked on her during the segment. She said the pain dropped to a 5. She said, I haven't had any ounce of relief for a few years. She said, this is amazing. So that's the reason why I offer the free samples on Sunday afternoons. So let's continue. The subconscious is what we're connecting with now, and it keeps a record of everything that takes place in one's life, like a computer. But the body continues to live in the past. So it's the body that's hurting. So we continue to work with the body. So for example, let's just say your teacher was a little hard on you when you were a little kid. Let's say you were 9 years old, and he or she made you feel sad. That emotion of sadness stays in your system. And there it begins. We start building layers of trapped emotion energy in the body, of sadness. And that sends out a beacon of vibration to the universe, and we start to attract more of that to us. Sadness. We attract more of it because it's in your system now. It's going to send out a vibration, an energy vibration of sadness. We're going to attract that. It's crazy how it works. So, as we continue, you may even in time start to think and convince yourself, that I'm just a sensitive person. Maybe I'm just, too sensitive. That's not really who you are. It's just that the body, the physical body, it's like it lives in the past, even though the mind is in the present. Okay? So with the motion code, we use a flow chart, and it connects with the subconscious, and we're able to retrieve this stored information that's in your subconscious, that computer. The subconscious knows the chart, knows everything about the chart because it is the chart. It's awesome. What a practitioner does simply is tunes into a person's subconscious. It's information that we receive from your subconscious so that we can better help us help you in turn. That's how we work. We work to retrieve information by asking questions and then locate it and then release it using applied kinesiology and magnets with intention. And while we work with an individual or an animal, I work on animals, we hold love and gratitude in our heart. First and foremost, we hold love and gratitude for that individual we're working on. It assists us when we release the trapped emotion. So with this work, energy isn't just simply moved around. It's literally extracted from the system. It's released from the body. Now, you probably remember this name, Greg Braden. He used to talk about this all the time, holding love and gratitude in the heart when you're working with someone. He talks about that in his lectures. He's a fascinating man. I've been following him for years. So, let me just give you a little insight about the conscious mind and the subconscious mind that we're connecting with. So this is a simulation, it's an iceberg of the mind, and it's divided into two parts: the conscious mind, the subconscious. Look at the difference. We use less than 1/10 of the conscious mind. The subconscious mind is huge. It's massive. This is what we're connecting with. There's no ego here. There's ego with this. That's the difference. So this is connected to universal intelligence. So that's God, the creator of all things, whatever you want to relate that to. That information comes directly here. And then we have permission, or we ask permission first to access and to help. Our ego immediately steps aside. And when we connect with your subconscious as a practitioner, our ego now goes away and we are now one being. That's how we are able to get the information from your subconscious. We're one being. And then when we're completed the session, we actually disconnect from your subconscious. So we connect at the onset and we disconnect when we've completed. It's wonderful work. So when we ask a client about pain that they may have in a certain area, we can move our hands toward that location and continue to do muscle testing. And the arm will drop when we get to where it is, literally, and reveal where it is in the system by becoming weak. We'll also notice that if we get close enough, we can actually feel the energy of it. We can feel the energy. And Dr. Brad Nelson, he's the founder of this work, he always states, it feels like a light breeze blowing over your hand. It's amazing. So here's something I learned from one of my colleagues on the West Coast, Emmanuel Zavalis. Wonderful, wonderful guy. Brilliant man. He's also an emotion code, body code practitioner certified. Proactive versus reactive. Trapped emotion can cause a person to be more reactive than proactive. And eventually, with this work, the duration of emotions one feels is shorter and shorter when it flares up, when we're using this work on a person. So it's amazing. And secondly, pain or imbalance. This is interesting. With pain, the medical profession works with masking symptoms with drugs. With imbalance, the holistic profession works with the root cause, or the issue, the underlying cause of what the issue is that's causing the pain. Interesting. So if a client says they have hip pain, and we find that worry is one of the trapped emotions that keeps showing up many times over and over during the session while we're using muscle testing, we ask the subconscious for the age of the occurrence of when this took place. And then we ask, so worry is what we asked about. We will ask, is it between stomach and spleen? Because that's the organs that originated it. Okay? So if you look at a chart, that brings me to why I am talking about that. This is the emotion code chart, okay, and it's two levels, or two left and right, I guess you could say, columns A and B, and then there's also 6 rows of organs. So column A, column B, 30 trapped emotions in each row, each column. And there's 5 trapped emotions in each cell cluster, okay? And then over here, there are 6 rows of organs and glands, and there are 2 organs or glands in each, okay? Now, the organs and glands that you see right here, they are the frequency generators. It's going to take you a minute to wrap your mind around this. I'll repeat it. They are the frequency generators. They generate the frequencies of these emotions that are trapped. So each one has a specific frequency produced by a specific organ and gland. But they can be trapped anywhere in your body. Okay, just so you understand that. They can be trapped anywhere in your body. These are the organs and glands that are just generating the emotion in your system. All right? So we'll get back to that in a couple minutes. So as we continue, worry and stress, since we're talking about worry, the trapped emotion of worry, create more cortisol in the system. This helps control blood sugar levels, regulate metabolism, and it helps reduce inflammation and assist memory formulation. It's a steroid hormone. It's produced by the adrenal glands, and it's released from the adrenal cortex. That's the outer region of the adrenal glands. It's the largest of 3 separate zones. It allows the body to continue to stay on high alert. Okay, so just to give you a little more information there. So reducing trapped emotion energy can lower pain and inflammation in the system. That's why we do the samples. You'll feel a drop in your body. These trapped energies can make one reactive. So again, I reiterate, with the Emotion Code, Body Code, the energy isn't just being moved around. It's literally being extracted from your system, released, removed. Muscle testing. It's a communication mechanism that the body uses to communicate with us. It also communicates with us, this is important, it also communicates with us using symptoms. If you have a symptom in your body, like if you have a headache, or suddenly you have diarrhea and you don't even know why, or you have a stomach ache, or suddenly your right knee starts to hurt. What's going on? How come? I didn't do anything. That's a symptom, and your body's trying to show you something's up, something's amiss in your body, and it's trying to reach out to you. It's asking for help. It doesn't have vocal cords. It can't say, hey, you're hurting me. Stop doing that. So, as we continue, it also communicates, as we continue, with symptoms. So hold on to that thought. But the beauty is we can communicate back with it using magnets or fingertips, either one, because your fingertips are magnetized just like a magnet. So we can use a magnet or we can use our fingertips when we're releasing the trapped emotion that we just found. So this is a magnet that I use, and we use it in the governing meridian, and that starts here, right here. It goes up over the crown and down the full length of your spine. And as long as the magnet or your fingertips are in the field of energy while we set the intention to release, you don't have to touch the skin. So it's like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 3 or 4 rolls in the governing meridian. That's it. Or fingertips. And I generally use just the fingertips with my work now. I don't very often use the magnet, but I like to show people that it's because of magnetism that this works. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So now when we're working in the governing meridian, you don't have to do the full length of the back. As long as you're in the field, you go over the crown and down the neck, you're in the meridian. So you don't need to do the full length of the back. Now, if I'm doing a lecture out somewhere, I will use, when I'm working with a volunteer, I will show in a demonstration with both my fingertips and with a magnet the full length of the spine. Okay? So let me just show you what that looks like, as a matter of fact. I have visual aids to help people understand what I'm talking about. This is the governing meridian. Okay? It's the largest reservoir of energy in the body. It's Chinese medicine, and we don't use any other. This is the only one we use. But you can see all these other little teeny tiny narrow meridians. That's a pathway. That's an energy pathway. And they travel right through all the organs and everything in the body, everything in the system. Now, it's just like a vein that brings blood through the body. It's a pathway. This just brings energy through the body. A pathway. It's called a meridian. All right, and this is the one that we use. It's the full length of the spine, but it starts here. So it goes here, up over the crown, and down the full length of the spine. So that is your governing meridian. Okay, so let's keep going. So, again, symptoms. Pay attention to that if you have a symptom in your body and something's amiss. It's trying to get your attention that something is not right and that it's not happy. It's unhappy. And it wants you to help. So, as we continue, remain open to the idea that you can heal. The body code was divinely inspired, and it is a complete system. there are 6 body topics that we work from. No matter what took place in your past, hold on to this thought, if you're involved in this work, your body's energy is going to shift and opportunities will open to you because of it. So let's just say a few years ago, you're still working at the same job and you don't like it, you want to change, you're not really happy there, or you're looking for some insight, where am I going? What's my purpose? What am I doing? I just feel like I'm floundering. When you start doing this work, your energy is going to shift and the opportunities are going to show up. Your perception is going to change. You're going to see shifting in your life. Job opportunities are going to come up. You're going to think differently. So you may completely change course and go to another direction altogether from what you've been doing all your life. And love it. You will love what you're doing. That's the key. It's amazing. So hold on to that. So, one distinction with this work, the trademark in the emotion code. Another is the use of magnets. Now the trademark is a heart wall. It releases a heart wall, and no other energy does this. Finds a heart wall and releases it. It's a separate entity all itself. So literally it's a wall around the heart center. That's the trademark of the emotion code. And the other is magnets, of course, and we release energy from the system. And again, we're not just moving it, we're releasing it. Another is the body code. This was also inspired. Again, now Dr. Bradley Nelson, the founder of this work, he's a very spiritual man, a very humble man. He's wonderful. If you've ever seen any of his lectures, he's great. He continues to receive information to just keep going and updating and keep moving with this work. He would pray, believe it or not, years ago, he was a chiropractor, and he would pray over his clients before he would work on them, because sometimes he would have difficulty trying to figure out what was going on and why this wasn't helping. So he would pray over his clients and ask for help from up above. And he would receive an answer. So it was from doing that on a regular basis that he received information that 93% of people have a heart wall and don't realize it. And that's when the heart wall information was conceived. It actually showed him through a vision with him and his wife, a vision of a heart wall, and literally a wall around a human being, and why. So it's amazing. This is the first time in history where the body actually affirmed a heart wall. And it's separate. This is what separates the emotion code from most energy healers. They don't have this portion of clearing a heart wall. So only an emotion code practitioner can do that. It's amazing. People that have chronic anxiety, depression, PTSD, typically this is a heart wall issue. And an example of that, having a heart wall can affect your body in 2 important ways. First, a heart wall may interfere with the free flow of heart energy through the body, because it has a separate field of energy around the heart. Now I know you've heard of this before. It's called the aura. The aura around the body is 6 feet wide. 6 feet this way, 6 feet this way, in front of you, behind you. So just kind of put your arm all the way out around you. Okay, it's wider than your arm. It's 6 feet. Well, the heart has its own field of energy, a separate field of energy around it. It's 12 feet wide. Separate field of energy. So, this can make it more difficult for a body to heal when there is an effect in your body, particularly in the neck, the upper back, and the shoulders. That heart wall will interfere with the free flow of heart energy through the body, and it will make it difficult for your body to heal. Secondly, a heart wall could interfere with our ability to fully open our emotional heart to others and manifest abundance in our lives. The heart is capable, this is interesting, capable of generating 60 to 1,000 times more power in electromagnetic energy than the brain. making it the most powerful organ in the body. 60 to 1,000 times more power in electromagnetic energy than the brain. So fascinating. So each time one experiences something traumatic, the subconscious automatically adds another layer of trapped emotion that's already in your body now. So the heart wall that has trapped emotion in it is separate from just trapped emotion that's in your body elsewhere. And that's how it's actually created. It actually shaves a little bit of energy off of the trapped emotion that's already in your body, brings it up to the heart, and now it starts to create a wall. All right? So there's already trapped emotion in your body. That's how it does that. So again, the heart wall was never ever intended to be in place permanently, only as a temporary protection while you were going through something that was very difficult or traumatic. I mean, you could have been involved in a horrible car accident or witnessed one even. The death of somebody very, very close to you, a divorce. Let's say your parents got divorced and you were just a young child. That's difficult for children. They're not able to express yet emotions. They're not accustomed to emotions yet. So that's very challenging for children. A heart wall would be created like a car accident or somebody that experienced a death of somebody very, very close to them. That's traumatic. And there's so many more things that can happen. So here's something that I haven't talked about in a while since I brought up electromagnetic energy. It's fascinating. Science has proven waves of energy of the heart, in other words, the frequency of the heart, affects the frequency of the mind. Interesting. A German-made product called the magnetocardiogram measures the electromagnetic frequency of the heart. Now, this is something that I haven't talked about in a little while. This is one of the archive things that I haven't talked about. They find the heart field is measurable sphere of energy, and it can be measured between 10 and 12 feet. But the electromagnetic energy, there is no end, it's infinite, but they can measure. So the 10 to 12 foot measurement is something that they can measure and give us numbers in our linear thinking, in our linear mind. So when we connect with something, the frequency of the heart affects the frequency of the mind in that other person. So wrap your mind around that a little bit. When we connect with someone, the frequency of the heart affects the frequency of the mind in the other person. Very interesting. This science-based finding is only been around about maybe the last 10 or 15 years. And there's more to communicating, is what it's trying to show us, than communicating with words. That there's a second brain, and it's in the heart. Now, I've talked about this many times through the years during lectures and webinars, that there is a second brain in the heart, and it has been proven. So releasing a heart wall or a significant amount of trapped emotion even in your system helps one find their mission, their purpose, their joy, their love, their contentment. It helps to do that. That's what it's all about. It releases the junk that's weighing us down. It's like walking around with suitcases full of rocks. It weighs on your body. So what good is a mission? What good is a mission if we don't have joy in it? There's many people in life that have made it really big and they have plenty of money, but they have no joy. Everything is energy. So once we neutralize our past, we effectively counteract its hold on us, and we don't go back. So stay open to what if. What if? The possibilities are endless now. As one continues to work with this modality, they become clearer and clearer, releasing more and more low vibration frequencies. So where your energy once was, even 2 years ago, is not where it is now. Stay open. So with that said, let me just give you a couple of examples of what I'm talking about here with releasing and finding misalignments in the body. I worked with recently a couple of clients, one a male, one a female. Let me just tell you what some of the findings were. It may kind of help you put together what I'm talking about when I say trapped emotions and, you know, where we're finding them in the body and what's happening. I worked on a woman that had cholesterol issues. So my question was, as we use the body code, you know, what's the underlying cause for her cholesterol issue to be so high? What's going on with her body? And she's on, you know, medication for it. So I went in, connected, and asked permission to connect to her subconscious with divine guidance to do that, and connected. And I use muscle testing to do that. And once I have connection, I'm connecting, asking permission to connect to so-and-so, connecting, boom, I get a yes. And I ask, have I connected with so-and-so subconscious? I'll get a yes. All right, so once I have that permission to connect, we are now one being. My ego is gone. We're one being. My consciousness is connected to hers. Okay, so this is the question I asked. She had issues with her cholesterol. So I said, where are we going using the body code to find the underlying issue that's triggering the cholesterol? So this is the front page, first page of the body code app. Okay, this is on our phone. There's also one on the computer. I use both. And it's 2 columns, just like the emotion code, there's 2 columns, but it's not labeled column A or column B, it's just left and right. There are the 6 topics, as I talked about: energy, circuits, toxins, pathogens, misalignments, nutrition, or lifestyle. So these are the 6 topics that your subconscious is going to tune into to give me information so I can better help you. All right? So as I worked with this woman, I went in and it sent me, I asked, is it the left side or the right side? It was the left. I asked each one of these, is it energy? I got a no. All right, is it circuits? I got a yes. So I tapped that and it took me further into the system. Let me just see if my phone is even on and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let me see if I can tune in here and just show you a glimpse of what it looks like. All right, so this is the phone. If I were to use the app on the phone, this is what it looks like, okay? It's exactly what I just showed you with this. It's just a little bit larger. All right, so what we're going to do is it sent me here. Now see how it flips? It's going to give me more topics, more information about her system and where to go. So I'm going to ask, okay, so we're here, we're in circuits. Where do we need to go from here? Is it the left side or is it the right side? And I'm going to just keep going. And it sent me to much further. It sent me to organs. And then it sent me to, and as we can see it flipped again, it sent me to the heart. And then it's going to give me information. All right, so you can just barely see that there's writing. I have to turn it to the side so it doesn't glare. So that is where we're going with this. So as we continue now, let's just give you some information, some insight about what happened and what the findings were in her system. So it was the heart organ was imbalanced that was triggering the cholesterol to be off. And why was the heart organ imbalanced? That's the next question. So I asked, is there trapped emotion associated with this? I got a yes. So I used the emotion code chart, which is right here, to find it. So I went in asking the subconscious, is it column A, this trapped emotion that's triggering the heart organ, or is it column B? And then at the end I would ask which of these organs was disrupted. So I went in and I found that this woman had 19 trapped emotions that were triggering the heart organ to be imbalanced. 19. The 19 were self-abuse, guilt, sadness, frustration, grief. Let's see what else we had. Frustration, panic, resentment, bitterness, defensiveness. I mean, that's just a few. There's 60 of those in here. There's abandonment, there's betrayal, there's forlorn, there's heartache, there's horror, there's fear, there's blaming, there's pride, shame, shock, unworthiness. There's a lot of trapped energy in the body with emotions, and there's 60 emotions that we work with, okay? So she had 19 that were offsetting her heart organ. So I released all of the trapped emotions that were triggering that, and then I asked, was there any other associated imbalance in her system? And there was none triggering the heart organ. So I rebalanced the heart organ, and then I asked, is there anything else as an underlying issue or cause triggering the cholesterol to be off? I got a yes. So I went back in and I kept searching. Okay, so what else can we find? What's going on? So I kept asking, using the chart again, where are we going to find the underlying cause here? Is it the left side? Is it the right side? And it sent me to one of these, and I just kept going, paying attention to it. It took me to a chakra. The chakra that was imbalanced was a sacral chakra. So I asked, is there trapped emotion associated with this chakra that's imbalanced? I got a yes. So I asked again, all right, so let's find, using the emotion code chart. See how they work hand in hand? The emotion code, body code. It's like a hand in glove. They work together. So I went back into the emotion code chart and I asked, okay, where are we going? There's trapped emotion, you're telling me, that's associated with this sacral chakra that's misaligned. Is there more than one? And we just kept going and asking. We go into column A, column B, find it, find the right column, release it, and I ask again, is there more? And I would get a yes. And I kept going with that process. We released 12 more that was throwing off the sacral chakra. All right, so I rebalanced that, went back in again and asked, is there anything else in her system that's triggering, or is an underlying cause triggering the cholesterol to be off? I got a yes. So we weren't done. I just kept going back through her system till we found everything that was triggering the cholesterol was trapped emotion. The next one, there were 29 trapped emotions at her heart chakra, okay, throwing off her cholesterol. So that's why I say, pay attention to symptoms. There's something amiss and your body's trying to tell you. Another one, I worked on a gentleman and his bladder was off. So I was trying to figure out what was going on with his bladder. So I went in, the same process. What's the underlying cause for the bladder to be off? It's giving him a real problem here. So I went into the body code chart, found that there was a misalignment. Again, it's going to show you where to go. Just ask the questions and listen. Is it the left side? It's the right side. It was the right side. It was misalignments. There was something misaligned in his system. Again, just like the last person. So I went in and I kept going until we found where the misalignment was in this gentleman's system. Throat chakra. So the throat chakra was misaligned. So I asked, is there any trapped emotion associated with this? And I got a yes. So I kept going. I kept asking, going into the chart deeper and deeper. And I found, believe it or not, we worked a long time on this. And we weren't complete, but the body got too tired, we couldn't finish. 52 trapped emotions, clogged, stuck at the throat chakra. That's what was triggering the bladder. Now again, if you remember what I said earlier, the emotion with this is the meridian chart, the governing meridian, but here's all the smaller meridians. These meridians bring the flow of energy of the chi through the body. So that's why I say the bladder and the throat chakra were probably on the same meridian. So the throat being here and the throat chakra and the bladder were connected. Okay, so the bladder is about here. Somewhere along the line, the meridian had a block in it, okay, creating a problem for the bladder, the throat. So it's the meridians that get blocked because of trapped emotion. So the energy, the chi cannot flow through your body. So we found, again, I'm going to reiterate that, 52 trapped emotions at his throat chakra. And we weren't done. Again, this person's body was getting too tired, so I couldn't do any more work, and it actually said to stop. So we always ask when we've done a lot of work, should we stop doing any more energetic work on this individual? We'll get a yes if the body is too tired. If the organs and glands are too tired now and they can't do any more, they can't handle the releasing, because it's a shift for them to have that stuff extracted, then we'll stop. And I'll just disconnect from the individual, and I will ask, what is the timeline? And we'll get an answer. What's the timeline for this individual to be able to process their organs and glands, to be able to process the energetic work that we just did? Is it more than 2 days? I'll get a yes. And I'll just keep going in that process until I get a finalized. Is it 3 days, is it 4 days, or 5 days? Or is it 2 days, 3 days? Or is it just 2 days? Or is it 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 6 days? Whatever it is, I just keep going until I get a lock. And that's where we stop. So we can actually tell a person what the timeline is for how long it's going to take your body to process this. And meaning, what that means actually is, I think it fell. Yeah, hang on 1 second. This is what it actually looks like. This is, again, just another simulation, but here's your physical body, here's the chakras, all these little pencil marks that I put in here, all these holes. That's where the trapped emotion once was in your system, and it has now left a space. It's now left a space. So your body needs to go through an adjustment process to come back to fullness, wholeness again. Filling up all of these spaces where there once was something heavy taking up space. It's blank now, it's empty, which it likes, but it needs to adjust to going through that. Just like when we move, if we move, from one house to another house, let's say we move across the country, we need to take time to adjust to that. New friends, new people, new job is a process of adjusting. It's the same thing with the physical body. It needs time to adjust. So it takes, 2 or 3 days, 4 days, whatever it's going to take for the body to mend and come back to fullness again and fill up the holes with your loving, beautiful energy. Okay? So that's the process. All right. So I just thought with a little bit of an explanation of how the flow actually works would be a little bit easier to take in. So, and I'm going to just show you something here with accordance with my spirit team hanging out with me. Now, when we have like this, when I talk about my spirit team, as orbs, it's spirit team can be your loved ones that have crossed over, family members, friends, colleagues. Those are human beings, and they're called spirit guides. But we can also have angels, archangels, light beings working with us, loving beings. That's it. Only loving beings, and you can see them here. Only loving beings, are pure white energy, beautiful, pure energy of a very high vibration. We live in the 3-dimensional plane, but there are many more dimensions than this, and that's in the book as well. Many more dimensions than this that we live in. It's a very low, dense frequency here. And I can actually read you an excerpt from one of the chapters where they talk about that. But this, I want you to see this. I don't know if you can see it very clearly, but you can see all these angels, what looks like angels. See the earth? Every single one of these angels and light beings that you see, there's thousands of them here in this image, watching over the earth. We have that many and more around each one of us, guiding us, watching over us. If we listen to what they're saying, your intuition is there for a reason. That's to help guide us. This is how many we have around every single human being. It's amazing. All right. So, with that, I hope that you found this fascinating. I hope you found it interesting. If you have any questions, you can certainly email me, energy4522@gmail.com. But in the meantime, go to my website. There's a lot of information there about the emotion code, body code, and what we're doing here. It's very, very helpful to the human body. Wonderful, wonderful work. So if you find that you have questions, reach out. I will be happy to answer your questions. Now, let me just read one small, short sentence, since we were just talking about that. I think that you'll find it fascinating. Alrighty. Chapter 1. It's the very first chapter. And it's my spirit team coming through. Since we're talking about spirit team and orbs, let me just read this one quick excerpt. And I know that you'll find it fascinating, but I need to find it again. It explains pretty briefly what we're doing and about dimensions. Let's just see if I can find the correct location. All right, so here we go. I think I have it right here. Let's see if it starts here first. Okay, so let's just start right here. I'm just going to throw it out there. This is a question again. Now, if you look at this one chapter, I don't know if you can see this, but you can see it shows question, answer, question, answer, question, answer. Many of the chapters in this book are simply questions and answers, back and forth with my spirit team. Okay, many of the chapters are designed that way. So this is just something that we were in a conversation about. Let's see. My statement was, we live in a duality of positive. This was my question. Positive and negative energy. Are there low vibration energies in other dimensions and galaxies, etc., that do try to connect with us? Okay, so this was their answer. And when they try to communicate with me, when they come in randomly to speak with me on a daily basis, they come through by saying, "Dear heart, or divine child of God, lovingly, we are divine source counsel, we would like to speak with you." That's how they always make their entrance. And then we go through a dissertation of a specific phrase that we work with. We are here with you. This is divine source counsel, lovingly, from the higher realms, the upper heavens of love and light frequencies. We are the light. We are love. That's how they come through every day to speak with me. And then we start. So this is their answer to that question. My dear child of God, that was the reason why I gave you that explanation. These are very good questions. And it's for this reason that this book needs to come out. In answer to your question, yes and no. There are low vibrations, as you put it, that have evolved as the human race has and are still learning. So to help with the understanding of this, for instance, some with the low vibration from outside your galaxy reside with no form, and still others have form. So a question. What distinguishes the difference? Answer. Evolution. Everything grows at its own pace. So another question. So the low vibration beings from outside our galaxy and dimension, are they lower than our frequency? Answer. Very good question. They are not, but they are always in balance in the universe. Everything in the universe is balanced. In other words, there are progression levels. Do you understand? That was their answer. Question. I do understand. So at this moment in time, as I'm speaking with my spirit team, am I speaking with my spirit team, or am I speaking with Pleiadians or something else, other light beings? Their answer. You are with your spirit council, your team. Remember, I said we all have this. We all have one. We all have a team around us. Thousands and thousands around us every day. So that's what they're just saying. Yes, you're speaking with your spirit council, your team. They consist of humans that have crossed over throughout time, not just from this lifetime. So it could have been people that we were with many lifetimes ago that we came in to learn something with. But they're also angels, archangels, ascended beings. Okay? Kind of what I just talked about. So question, what's the difference between ascended beings and ascended masters, as we term them here? Are they one in the same? That was my question. Yes, that's correct. They are the same. It was just the wording. It's just the language. Okay, so another question. What group does the HEB, in other words, the highly evolved beings, fall into? Answer. They fall into the category of the 8th dimension and above. Remember I said there were many dimensions and many frequencies, many galaxies. So, question. So the Pleiadians, what do they fall into? Answer. Pleiadians do not fall into the same category. They are still in form. As we continue, there is much to discuss. They are with the 5th dimension. We're 3rd dimension. The Pleiadians are of the 5th dimension. HEBs, highly evolved beings, are beyond the 8th dimension. After the 8th dimension, there's no physical body needed. So I think we're going to probably get into that. A thought, this is a question, comes to mind to ask about the so-called Bigfoot being that people have said they have seen glimpses of. My information on this came through some years ago, that it's a highly evolved being here to witness and observe and can travel between dimensions at a moment's notice. Is this true? Answer. It is. They have been here on your plane of existence for a very long time, as you were told, meaning me, years ago, that the reason they have not been captured by humans is for that reason. They slide in and out of dimensions. They're not here for that reason. They're here to just observe us, and for no other reason. Can they cloak themselves so that they're not seen and still be in the 3-dimensional plane? That was my question. Answer. Cloaking they cannot do. They simply slip in and out of dimensions. They do not wish to harm, only observe. Okay, question. Why have they taken on such a primitive appearance? Answer. They wish to remain neutral, invisible while they're here. They're just observing. So that was the best way they could do that. So question. Do they take notes Do they reference our behavior in some platform or learning or educating? Answer. They observe to research. They are a particular race from outside this three-dimension plane that you reside. Question. Is this what they look like where they live, where they reside? And their answer is, it is not. So my question was, okay, so this now gets into dimensions as well as galaxies. What's the difference? Answer. Dimensions are in all galaxies, all universes. That's kind of a tongue twister there. Question. I don't even know where to begin. Is there a particular number of dimensions or per galaxy or per universe? Answer. Good question. There are an infinite number of dimensions throughout. As we continue, there is one last thing that we would like to discuss with you. Stay with the flow and manifest better. Let's see. So I just want to read something that is interesting to you. This is the very end of the chapter. All right, so yeah, I guess we can read that. You are on the path, you are on the right path of enlightenment. Once the book comes out, people will look upon you differently, and they have. There have been a lot of people asking questions. Excuse me. They will tell you it helped explain things to them more easily. It helped them move along with difficulties that they were having. And it helped them understand energy work. We are here to work with you. We will continue. Until next time, love to you, divine child of God. That's how they sign in and sign out, divine child of God. So I hope that you found that fascinating. That's chapter 1, my spirit team coming through. Lots of questions and answers back and forth. So I hope you found that fascinating. So I'm going to just show you that I am here, and if I move the light a little bit, let me just do it this way. If I move the light, and see the orbs disappear, and that there is a person here. I am here with you. I wasn't invisible. So, until next time, I will see you again. Love and light frequencies coming your way. You can always reach out to me. I'll put the light back. Go to my website for more information, energyworkstudio.com, or reach out with a question, energy4522@gmail.com. So in closing, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. It's always a pleasure to do this. So till next time, with grace and gratitude, stay connected. Bye for now.